Welcome everybody. This is the B&B podcast. November 3rd is the big day. So tell me, B, what do you think is going to happen? We got to be pumped up for this.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm actually really pumped up because, man, my wife and I have been talking today, and my wife was all excited about it last night. My wife is not political at all, not at all. But it's kind of like watching a game, right? It's like watching, like, man, shit, you got to go for the guy that you're going for and stuff. And you're like, all right, let's see how it goes. And I mean, the cover starts at like 6:00 tonight, East Central Time or whatever. I think it's 7:00 Eastern Time. And so basically, it's I don't know. It's hard to put into words about how exciting it is. Now, with that being said, this whole episode is just about the election, right? Just in general. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to say, what do you think the outcome is going to be?
I don't know, B. I think honestly, so you might have heard, but New Hampshire was Joe Biden's first victory within the Electoral College. So I think, of course, that's a predominantly blue state. But me personally, I'll be real. I'm more liberal, but I think Donald Trump's going to secure the victory for tonight. I think it's just because just the previous election too kind of decided back then 2016 we were like, I'm just going to vote for Trump because with Hillary, and then now he actually got voted, and then I guess they saw the progression, they liked it. And they were like, okay, well, actually, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump now officially because of all he's done. But I think it's going to be evenly matched, though. I think Biden has a chance of. I think Donald Trump honestly going to win, but I think Biden does have a chance to turn it around. Though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah. That's really how I got it.
So before I tell you what I think, I'm going to kind of build up to it, right? Yeah. So right now, just leading up to where we are at right now. You have the Biden camp and the Trump camp. Trump hasn't changed himself, right? From 2016 till now, he's just been, honestly, he's been high energy. He's done 5 rallies a day, flying from place to place to place, and not just like, I'm going to go from Minneapolis to Chicago and stay inside the relative areas. I think he's gone from some days from Iowa to Pennsylvania to Florida. So he's making huge jumps to do these things. On the flip side, Biden has not done as much campaigning, but Biden has surrogates in his place that are going to these places to try to build it up and stuff. The other opposites is Trump has got massive rallies that you see. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people are showing up to Trump rallies, where the Biden rallies are very tiny. Mm-hmm. With that being said, though, there's also 2 reasons why you have these differences, which you can't just say, well, it's also to get energy. Yeah. One, the Trump rallies, people come out because they have a ton of energy for Trump, and they don't care about COVID that much. Yeah, exactly. Where on Biden's side, Biden's telling people don't come out, and plus the difference in the sides is that Biden's side is very fearful of COVID, and so they're not going to come out generally as much anyways. And when they do come out, they're going to take up more space. Practices distancing, which makes a difference. With that being said, that is a massive difference between 258 cars to one newspaper that recorded over 50,000 people in a Trump rally. That's 50,000 to 258 cars. Now, let's just say the cars were packed up 4 to a car. That's still just over 1,000 people. That's still 50 to 1 in favor of Trump at these rallies. Mm-hmm. So it's still very different. But Biden not only has the Biden supporters, he has the Trump haters. They might not like Biden, but they just hate. They just hate Trump that much that they're going to vote for Biden anyways. And you're right. New Hampshire, they're saying is already going to Biden.
Yep.
I'm surprised that they're making the call at in the morning already. Now, granted, more than likely, New England is going to go heavy to Biden anyways. Yeah. New York, Vermont,
the New England state,
Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. That's probably all Biden anyways. Yeah. Those guys are the blue check marks. I'm not going to look at anything anyway. It's just like how people will say that, the middle of the country is going to be the red check marks. They're not going to look at anything. So, those are all givens. I'm really excited though because I love watching to see where the flip states are really going to go. Not just the couple that we're talking about. There's a lot of states up there. It's like, oh, hey, You expect Arizona to go away, but at the same time, it could go another way. You know, I'm wondering about Colorado and New Mexico, which usually have been leaning blue.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if maybe something might change those this year, even though they have never not been inside the talk and discussion stuff. I don't know. It's kind of awesome to kind of see that. With that being said, I do think Trump is going to win out, and I feel like he's actually going to do better than he did in 2016 as well, because people picked him in 2016 to say screw you to the establishment, because they're tired of it. I mean, no matter which side of the aisle you are on, I'm pretty sure you see the Democrats and then Republicans both in bed together. So if you're a Democrat and you see, the lifelong Democrats, they're like, man, they're doing this. They're not doing anything we want. They're playing with these Republicans, and the Republicans are like, well, shoot, you're just allowing all these Democrat things going. You guys are you have two sides of the same coin. You just want to be elected and just get money from us every 4 years or whatever. And lo and behold, you guys are out there just doing your thing every single week, while we're the ones that are getting the crap end of the stick. So after 4 years, though, I feel like there's been a huge. I mean, everything you look at for Donald Trump, whether he was able to accomplish it or not, he actually pushed for all the stuff that he was said. And so all the people that voted for him the first time are like, hey, he did what he said. Yeah. We're doing this. And everybody that didn't vote for him, not everybody, but a lot of people that didn't vote for him, either were like, hey, he's a man of his word, and I do actually like the way it's going now, so I'm going to vote for him. Mm-hmm. Or they see that the way that the Democrats are going, and they're like, you're way too crazy.
Or they saw that Trump didn't actually accomplish all those goals, so that's why they also back out too. That's why why we have a lot of these non-Trumpeters and this websites such as like Republican voters against Trump now. Like, mm-hmm. I think it's just going to be. I think it's going to be like I said, I think it's going to be an even battle.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be even battle. I think
it might be. Yeah. It might be. Yeah. So I think it'll be more of a spread.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a bigger victory for Trump. I think last time he won 303 to 220 something.
I can't remember.
I don't think it's going to be much bigger, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 320 around there, maybe 340 even.
Biden is leading the polls, though, right?
He is leading the polls. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I'm one of those guys. I don't trust the polls. I don't trust. Oh, I mean, shoot, how can you trust the mainstream media? They were completely wrong about Hillary's victory. Everyone was guaranteeing that Hillary's going to win. She lost. Then they're like, oh, hey, we fixed the polls. And then I've been watching a couple people talking over the last couple of days about the polls now, because they've also referenced Florida, which just did their voting like a couple of years ago. And they were completely wrong about that, and not even like kind of close either. Like there was two races that were completely flipped over, and they weren't even supposed to be close or something. They completely flipped, and they're like, whoa, this was supposed to be like your test run after fixing your polls, and you still got it way wrong. So I can't trust the polls. So I'm going to believe my own eyes and my own ears. So whenever I see articles and people talking about giant Trump rallies, which you can see, you see Trump talking in front of people, and you see the camera pan out. Not every camera does it, but cameras pan out. And as they pan out, it's just a sea of people. And they do, I see one where it did like a full circle. And the whole circle, it was nothing but people, a sea of people. And then they did that at like a Biden rally. There wasn't a lot of people there. Now, like I said, I understand that the differences, but that's a massive gap of a difference. So that's why I feel like it's going to be much.
I was going to say too, freaking like even with these Biden rallies, Trump rallies are coming to interrupt these rallies too. So
yeah,
try to
boosting the Biden rally numbers.
Just freaking throwing flags and stuff. So.
Yeah, so I will say, even though that's funny, I think that's kind of a bad move.
Well,
kind of a dirty move.
Yeah, that's dirty too. But also too, a lot of athletes too. I think I think it's too late now, but like Doc Rivers actually was endorsing the Biden campaign, and like people who are fans of Doc Rivers are like, oh, like if he supported him, like maybe that'll give me an excuse to, vote for Biden. Also, too, Eminem sponsored Joe Biden's video. He put "Lose Yourself" on there too. Then, Eminem, I know this is not. Yeah. It's going into a different direction, but Eminem is one of the the greats of the hip hop game, and that could also, influence a lot of people too. But I get what you're saying though. Like you gotta don't look at these articles and don't look at these new outlets where they could just uh, propaganda information to where it's 100% false.
Yeah.
And me personally, like honestly, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna wait, see what the outcome is, and then this will be all. This will be. I mean, of course, it won't be over till the next couple of months, but we'll finally
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Well, it could be over. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was over tonight.
Yeah.
Depending, I mean, if, like I said, if Biden wins, I feel like it'll be close. If Trump wins, I feel like it could be a big jump.
Okay. My bad.
No, you're good.
But
Yeah.
I do have two questions though. So on the outcomes, what do you think will happen if Trump wins? And what do you think will happen if Biden wins?
So if Trump wins, there will be. What do you mean, like immediately? You mean you're talking about like the looting and rioting?
Yeah,
I think people will riot and stuff, and then you'll have more people screaming in the streets. And of course, the thing is that the cities and states are stupid.
Yeah.
Because they're allowing this to happen. They're allowing it to happen.
That's why.
So if you're somebody in a state, I highly doubt anybody's going to see it. That's a state representative or even a city person. But if you're in these cities and that happens in your city and you're not doing anything, that's your fault. That is your fault for letting these guys do that. You're fine to protest. I'm fine with like people want to protest and sit in the street and just yell like people have all those memes about that lady yelling 4 years ago because Hillary lost. But whenever you just sit there, we're going to board these things up because we're expecting rioting. No. If you know it's going to happen, then get your guys out there and stop it.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you need to be letting lawlessness happen. And you can't blame Trump for that. You have to blame only your city officials, your direct city. You can't blame your governor. Yeah. You can't blame the state senate. You have to blame the city officials for allowing the riots to happen. And so, yes, I think that if Trump wins, there will be rioting because people don't know what the heck to do. People are little whiny babies nowadays and don't know that, hey, you know what? In 4 years, we're going to fight for it again. Honestly, the world didn't come to an end whenever Trump became president. Things have changed to be more conservative over the last 4 years. But honestly, if you look at the grand scheme of things, it hasn't changed that much. It's just small incremental changes as the United States, because that's what we should be doing. We should be making a small incremental change this way. This election might move it a little bit more to the right. Or it might make it this way. The thing you don't want to do is, which all these people that are going to riot want to do, they want to win and then just be like, well, we're just going all the way over here. Yeah. We're going so far away from the populace, which is honestly another reason why I feel like Trump's going to win, because even just normal Democrats, the normal liberals, they're like
the leaning Democrats. Yeah.
The leaning Democrats, they're like, look, I agree with a lot of the policies that were Democrat, but those no longer exist as themselves. Either you're far extreme, which I can't live that way. I can't live that way, or I side with the Republicans, which there's a lot of Republicans that do agree with me, and I can battle it out with the Republicans. So I feel like they're going to vote that way because in the end, it's a safer bet. It's kind of like what we were talking about one time. You have this, you have the riots, and some people want to do the safe vote then, because if you're going to take a risk, you want to take a risk that isn't going to get your head bitten off. So
you want to calculate it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, well, if I'm going to go with this risk, well, then what is it? The risk to vote for Biden is Green New Deal, which a lot of people feel, now we've already had a discussion, feel could bankrupt the country. Censorship across the board, so now you can't talk about whatever you want to. You're going to have to pay extremely high taxes for somebody else's college and somebody else's medical. So you're basically saying, I'm forfeiting all my stuff. I'm forfeiting my life to you as the government by voting for Joe Biden. And that is a little bit extreme, I'll say. But in the end, that's how people could be thinking. So it's like, well, if I go Republican, it's not going to agree with me. It's going to go away from me. But instead of giving up all this stuff, I might be giving up these. And then we'll vote for a real Democrat next time, and it can go back. Yeah. And it might slow down our progression to being where I want to, but at least it'll go back, and then we can continue on from there.
And it'll also build more of that mixture of, bipartisan too, instead of us being divided.
Oh, yeah. I think that this actually has a great possibility of uniting the country, because if Trump gets elected, which I'm voting for Trump. I'm just going to come out and say it right now. I already voted, and I voted for Trump. And this is the reason why I feel like it actually would unite us, is if all the Democrats, the normal Democrats, and the Republicans, they all put Trump in, and even if they put all Republicans in, Now all those Republicans, Democrats have all the constituents from normal Democrats and Republicans saying, hey, do this for me, do this for me. And now the Republican Party separates into like Republicans that are a little more liberal and Republicans a little more conservative. And now you actually have a talk, which is normal, all within one party, which is kind of weird. But it's all within one party about one party deciding, well, how do we do this? And then it'll break itself.
Well, I was going to say, I want to say Republican. I would say kind of more of a centralism.
Centralist. Yes, but in the end, it still would be under the Republican Party because that's who would get voted in. But if you go,
oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because if enough people vote, that radical left goes away, and then we're stuck with the Republicans who win if they won. If let's say Republicans won 100% of the votes, and all the radicals were, oh crap, we got to shut up, we lost everything. Now everyone's like, oh, we have all Republicans. Well, we're going to do all Republican stuff. Well, then the Democrats that voted for Republicans were like, hey, look, I voted for you. And I know you have a little bit more leanings for Republicans, but for this matter, this means to me, I want you to go against it. And so people do that. They contact the congressman for that. And before you know it, those people, they'll be like, hey, I'm a Republican, but I'm in Maine. And I need to start leaning towards my constituents who are a little bit more liberal. Yeah. Or, hey, I'm a Republican, I'm in Massachusetts, where they're very liberal. And so I need to start making sure that even though I have Republican values, I'm still with the Maine values and the New England as a whole values, which includes New York values, all those values.
That's gonna be tough, though.
And then therefore, even though I'm Republican, it starts separating the Republican Party where you still have dialogue. You actually would still have dialogue, but then you can see the separation. And before you know it, those people that are liberal Republicans might actually drop off and become the new Democratic Party. And before you know it, we got maybe what we had 30 years ago where people actually can talk and make policy, and there's no crazy people out there.
Well, I was going to say, too, what do you think will happen if Biden wins there?
All right, so we went off on tangent. So if Biden wins, I honestly think that it's going to happen again. I think there's still going to be rioting because now the rioters are going to be like, well, we can now get away with it. They can now get away with it because no one's going to stop them. They're going to be like, yeah, we believe in you rioting and destroying our own cities. And it's like, come on, man. Because
I was just asking maybe like which outcome would be like more devastating to the nation.
I think that the Biden outcome would be more devastating, and partly because I'm voted for Trump, but also because
I didn't vote for Biden.
Because if you look at Oregon being a great example, all Democrats, they just didn't do anything. Oh, we're going to let you do it. It just kept going.
Well, I mean, that's not because of all Democrats, though. That's because of a lot of Antifa, though.
Well, yeah, but like we talked about, though, sometimes you put your foot down and you squash it. You know what I mean? You need to. You can't just sit there and let them do what they did. I mean, in Seattle, let them set up the autonomous zone where multiple people were murdered. If that would have been squashed, we could have saved several lives.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And stuff. So the thing is that I feel like if you have enough people elected on the liberal side, they're going to let those riots continue because it's them protesting, which I don't know how the heck in the matter of like 3 months, the word protest went from a protest to a riot that we're going to call a protest. It's just insane. So that's why I think it's going to be devastating in the long run. I think maybe that first night, the riots against Trump might be a little worse, but over time, the riots would be worse with Biden because it would just be an ongoing, just chaotic, destructive force from the Antifa guys because they're like, oh yeah, no one's going to stop us until someone decides to finally put their foot down.
Me personally, I don't think. Like all these, there's like debates about a second civil war and stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. I think both. If either or gets elected, I think it's just going to, like you said, they're going to be riots and stuff. But I don't think it's going to be any worse than necessary too. But I also do want to, like, going back to like you were saying, like the ideologies of the parties. I actually could think that another like independents can like actually now step up too, because like a lot of people are like, well, the Democrats and Republicans are not getting things done, and maybe a new, like me personally, I voted for Joe Jordison, Libertarian Party, and I think that could pave the way, of course, to people voting for more that spectrum instead of all this division going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think honestly, like I was talking about with the Republican Party, the Libertarians could easily fill the void of what Democrats have left. Unfortunately, if we've noticed that they haven't they haven't pushed for it yet, or maybe they don't have
Or they're too scared. They
might be too scared.
Yeah,
they might not have enough support for it. Well, maybe not support, but they may not have enough power, as in monetary value or something like that, to support this stuff. Which is unfortunate because, if they filled that void, that could be a really good thing, and that just pushes out the Democratic Party, which at this point might just need to die, and a third party come up. There's three outcomes, right? The Republican Party takes huge splits, like I said. Number two, yours, an independent comes in between the two and is like, hey, we'll take that power grab because it's a power vacuum now here where all those people were displaced, and those people that are voting Republican that were Democrats, because I see that a ton. Democrats fed up with Democratic parties voting Republican.
Yeah, they switch up.
Just to do that. Now, there's not a ton of Republicans. Now, there are, but not even close to what it seems like Democrats are. Yeah. But then that means they would go from Republican back to the Democratic Party, or to the Libertarians, and at least set that up. And that would then have the Democratic Party die. Both those have the Democratic Party die. The last option is the Democrats get their act together, just say, get out of here, you extremists, push them to their own extreme party that nobody cares about, and then they recenter themselves, which to me, honestly, I feel is going to be extremely difficult, though, for them. Because this part, they have so many radicals in there that it's hard to kind of correct that ship. But this election can really do it. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe if Republicans win a ton, it kicks a lot of those radicals out. And then during the next election, whether it's 2 years from now or 4 years from now, those Republicans then lose their seats to normal Democrats, and then therefore it kind of resets itself. Yeah. Because I feel like this election is going to be a huge reshuffling. And I think, honestly, not just because I voted for Trump, and I'm a Republican, or I'm conservative. Yeah. Because I hate saying I'm a Republican. I'm conservative. I'm not just calling it because of that. In 2012, I knew Romney was going to lose. I mean, I don't know who. I think my family was the only ones that didn't know Romney was going to lose. I don't know how you didn't know Romney was going to lose, but I'm just calling it like I'm seeing it. That I feel Republicans are going to have a big win. Even if, let's say, Trump loses, I feel like they have a good chance for the Senate and the House as well. And if they do that, then 2 to 4 years from now, Democrats might say, okay, we got this guy, we didn't like him as much, and now we have a better option to vote for, and they flip back over to a normal Democrat.
Like Elizabeth Warren or somebody.
Yeah, I wouldn't call her a normal Democrat, but...
Yeah, she was the most normal out of it. She was...
I'm pretty sure the normal Democrats that are still there are so quiet because the extremes are all just... They're the big voice now, so the normal Democrats don't really have a voice that they can say, but they need to start speaking up. Otherwise, they will lose their seat to an extremist or a Republican. And maybe they need to because maybe they're too weak to stand up and say, no, you're wrong. To the extremes and say, hey, Republican, I don't agree with you and you're wrong. I'm here to stand up as like
myself
as a standard Democrat or a standard Democrat, and not agree with you, Republican, but we can have a discussion. And no, you just need to go away, extremist. But they don't do that. They're not doing it. So by the way, just as a heads up with me with my little charades here, I did win the best role player for my mystery masquerade party over Halloween I attended. So here to do some role playing. Role playing is in charades.
Next community organizer that he's going to be mayor, the governor. Vote for B.
Yeah, B for B and B for the next, for whatever office we're going to take.
I'll go more for social activism. But I think this is a good topic. I think it's going to be. We'll see what happens. We're going to see.
I'm excited. I'm watching tonight. My wife, she's going to probably pop open some wine and act like it's like a football game or something like that. Just watch it. I'm excited. I hope to see. Honestly, I hope it goes our way because I do believe that's the better path for America. Not just because it aligns with my values, but also it'll allow the United States to reset and evaluate where it's at and where it needs to go. What's your closing comments, B?
I don't agree with that necessarily.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I do like the path that you're saying, though, a bigger and brighter future. But I got nothing. Okay, all right. Hey, thanks for listening to us today. Very exciting discussion. Very excited for tonight. It's going to be great. Just can't wait to see what the results are. Obviously, we got to do one. We'll do a video tomorrow
follow-up for tomorrow. I'll be over here crying my eyes out or something. Who knows?
Oh, no.
But for now, don't forget to like, subscribe, definitely leave a comment because I really want to see what you guys are saying in your comments. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get any of our uploads that we upload from here on out. And can't wait to see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Stay safe, y'all.